Hey everyone, Chef Jean-Paul Bourgeois here, and I'm in the Louisiana Cooking Test Kitchens, your authority for all things great at the Bayou State. I got a doozy for y'all today. Guess what I'm cooking? Smothered pork chops and cabbage. I cannot wait. Let's get cooking. All right, first things first, let's go over our ingredients on the cutting board. We have some beautiful pork chops. They're bone in. They're about a 1/2 inch thick. We got onion, garlic, a little cooking oil, bay leaf, chicken stock, and of course, cabbage. First things we want to do is get this pot hot, get a little oil in the bottom of it, and we want to sear off our pork chops in that pot and in that oil. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use a fair amount, a good bit amount of Slap Your Mama Cajun seasoning on all sides of this pork. This is going to be the main seasoning in this dish, other than a little bit of salt and pepper. So I'm using the opportunity to liberally coat these pork chops with seasoning and searing them in that pot to my advantage, because I know when they go back in that pot with that cabbage, it'll kind of be the flavoring or the seasoning for that cabbage and for that dish. Let's get every little square millimeter covered. Again, you're gonna put stock in cabbage, it's gonna cook forever. So really these pork chops cook till they're falling off the bone. So just, the amount that I'm putting on right now is not necessarily gonna translate exactly when you finish this dish, because it's gonna be now incorporating into the cabbage and making that single thing. What I like to do is just stand them up like this. If I can, I just kind of roll them on the plate to get all that fat side on there. All right, that looks pretty good to me. Now you want a bigger pot to make this dish, because all this cabbage is gonna go in, the pork chops are gonna go in. You need enough room for these things to simmer and kind of meld together as they cook in this pot. So go ahead and, a bigger pot opposed to a smaller one is preferred, even if it seems a little too big at the time. Make your life a little easier and grab the bigger size pot. All right, so my grease is getting hot in the bottom of the pot. You don't have to do what I'm about to do. I like to do it because I want to get some render off of the fat cap on these chops. So I'll just keep them stacked like this, and I'll just hit them in the pot like so, and I'll just hold them here for a second, or for as long as I can without getting splattered by grease. And all I want to do is just kind of get that fat a little brown, a little rendered. This is really the only time I'm about to give these pork chops a dedicated render on the fat cap, or else, because eventually they're gonna have to lay down in this pot. And kind of move them around, being careful. But yeah, just give them a good sear. You're not worried about overcooking them in this sear. We're searing them for flavor, to lock in some of that slaps on that meat. But then I'm gonna add the cabbage, the stock, the onions, and the peppers. I'm gonna bring it up to a boil, and these pork chops are gonna now simmer in that and finish. And again, the goal is to have tender, juicy, but falling off that bone pork chop. You can see they're already starting to get nice and brown there. And keep them going. In theory, can I sear all 4 chops in this pot? Yes. Will I be incredibly successful at it? Probably not. It's just not that big of a pot surface area wise. But I'm okay with it, because again, I'm not looking to get these chops perfectly seared and perfectly roasted and perfectly cooked right now. So what I'll do, I'll probably better sear 3 at a time and keep one on top and just rotate them in and out until I feel like I have enough good color to move on to my next step. Let's take a look at that fat again, because who doesn't like looking at good rendered caramelized fat? I like that. All right, here we go. I'm gonna start laying them down in that pot. We're on high still, gripping and ripping. And as I expected, 3 is about all I can do. I'll just slap that guy right on top and allow these 3 to really sear and fry in that fat, and just rotate them in and out as the others cook. Pork chops are smelling good. They're looking good. They're golden brown. They've been cooking in this fat for quite a bit. Let's pop those out so y'all can get a better look at them. And that's really kind of all I'm looking for. You can go deeper, but I recommend this be at least the color that you're looking for. You got some nice kind of seasoned bits down here. We want to utilize all that. You can go right in with your onions at this point. Get them cooking in that fat. We're still cooking on high. I have some garlic here. Get those in. Also a few bay leaves. Switch. I can add salt here because we're going to be producing a fair amount of liquid anyway. I'm going to add a little chili flake as well, just to give a little background heat while we're cooking. Remember, you hear me talk about this before. I like to add my chili flake and black pepper and such in the fat so it can bloom and toast. I'm going to add my black pepper here. I just think it's a nice little chefy trick to season when you're going to have, especially have these one-pot meals, to go ahead and give it some black pepper in that fat to bloom. It's going to kind of give you a different flavor, black pepper, coming out in the main dish. You can always add more straight to the pot, but you're never going to have an opportunity to toast that black pepper unless you're at this stage. So just take those onions, stir them around. It doesn't need to be perfect, but I want to use my wooden spoon against the bottom of that pan and scrape some of those sticky pork bits that are on the bottom of that pan. And from here, you're good to add, or you're just looking to get those onions into the heat and start to soften, because in the end, they're going to be cooking. They're going to become so soft at the end of this, you won't even better recognize them. You can add your cabbage into here. Now, this is just green cabbage. You can use Savoy cabbage as well. I do like Savoy cabbage. Napa cabbage you can use, but it's going to be a little bit more watery, a little bit different texture. Red cabbage if you want red pork chops, purple pork chops. But usually I would say stick with the green cabbage or Savoy cabbage. You can add a little salt here again to kind of draw some of that moisture out of that cabbage. Really all it needs is heat to draw that out, but you're going to need to add salt anyway. Stir that into that fat really good until that cabbage starts to wilt. Once I feel like that's stirred really nicely in, I'm going to add all of my chicken stock. It's about 1 cup. And stirring that in again. I'm going to put this lid on. I want it to come back up to a boil or simmer before I add my pork chops. I want those pork chops to go in, really turning it down to low, getting on the back burner, and letting all those ingredients cook together. All right, our cabbage mixture has kind of come up to a nice rolling simmer, if you will. That cabbage is just going to continue to break down. As you can see, it's already starting to soften and wilt. But we got plenty of time to go here. What we want to do now is take these chops and kind of just bury them in the cabbage. One at a time, find space for them. Should better get the space in there because, you know, we're using this whole pot now, not just the bottom. All right. I'm going to move that around. This guy right in this corner here. Perfect. As this cooks, that cabbage is going to continue to leach liquid out. It's already got the stock in there. Add those drippings to right on top. And really simple. Now, set a timer for about 1 hour. You're going to need to check it periodically, like every 20 minutes, just to make sure you give it a stir, you're tasting, whatever. But we're at this point, we can take that pot, push it to the back burner, and just get that guy more like on a low to medium low heat, just slowly smothering that cabbage with those pork chops. All right, so our pork chops have been cooking for about an hour. I just gave them a taste test and they are absolutely perfect. well seasoned, got a little bit of kick to them, and the pork chops are starting to fall right off that bone. Let's pull it over here. Take that. Ooh, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Very simply here, you can see like there's a significant amount of liquid in here. Not significant, but there's a noticeable amount of liquid in here. If you have some perfectly steamed white rice, this would be the time to break it out and eat that smothered cabbage and pork chops over. So I'm just gonna scoop out a little pork chop for the bottom of the plate. And then, let's see if I can get to the rest of my cabbage here. A little cabbage right on the side. Man, this is just a wonderful little dish. It reminds me just so much of my childhood home growing up. My dad absolutely loved smothered pork chops and cabbage. It was one of his meals that he cooked during the week. And as you can see, as I move that cabbage out and expose that chop, it doesn't really have any more of that sear that we had from when we roasted those in the pan. That's all kind of given way to the sauce and to the braise, kind of becoming part of that braising liquid. And I can just take my spoon and just easily cut away that pork chop. And as you can see, it's spoon tender, not even fork tender. Let's give it a bite. My goodness, it's so good, it almost brings a tear to my eye. You gotta try this recipe, guys. My name's Chef Jean-Paul, and I am out.